Hello and welcome back. I'm Joe and this is Workus and Resources Soviet Republic. We are still in British Asia and I'm so happy I waited for at least the first two episodes to be publicly released, so I'll let you guys have all the input that you wanted. Because just because you know what's going on in this game doesn't mean you do everything right the way it's supposed to happen. Also, a couple extra trees have shown up here. Our hotel is built. Our NATO tourism thing is turned on, but we haven't actually turned on the hotel yet, and that was a relatively big mistake that I have to fix, and I think we need some time to start exploring the next expansion and see if we go north or that way. It is a really silly thing to say north in this game. I mean, technically maps are always north this way, and then we can say, okay, so this is east, and this is west, and this is south. We can play that way. Just now, when I talked to you, I actually used the correct north. I was looking that way. But I mean, we're probably going to expand into that area there eventually. So I learned a bunch of things from comments from you. Very much, highly appreciated. Thank you very much. Oh, I should fix the first thing here really quick. I had a bunch of comments about, oh, where's my building? Where's this thing? What mod are you using? I'm not using mods besides the Timekeeper mod. I'm not saying I'm not going to use any others, but currently I'm not using any other mods. I always, never play on the main branch. I always play at least on the public beta branch, which currently is on version 1.0.0.19. Earlier I was playing on the internal branch that was 0.20. There are a couple other things that are being tested there, but they're also going back and forth. So I will play for the rest of the season on the beta branch, the public beta branch, never on the main branch, always the public branch. If you want to figure out how to get to that one, please look up a guide online. It's just a right-click properties betas, and then you're there. So let's see what's happening here. What's currently happening is we have a little bit of money. Cool. We are importing 6,800. That's heavy on chemicals and fuel. Actually, let's just look at them. Why shouldn't we look at them? We are in 1934 still. I removed the year once from 35 to 34, so we are still in 1934, and I actually want to stay here for a little while. Kind of like this year, kind of like the vehicles that we have available, and that's all good. But if we look at our current import-export for this year, maybe, honestly, I know that the Timekeeper or Time Master mod actually messes with this quite a bit, but let's see. Import. Currently, we're importing mostly chemicals. That makes sense. And then a lot of construction things, because that is still a thing that really, really hurts. But yeah, chemicals are our biggest one right now, which honestly is the next thing that I would like to get into. So I started constructing the technical university. Also, I would like to turn this one into 5. That is 5. Okay, so just extra people are there, but that's all fine. So I would like to build the technical university. The technical university should allow us to get into chemical research, which is just one research tab, and then we should be done with that. There are a bunch of trees now. Trees are fun. I had some time, so now we have trees here. Cool. What should we do next? I will come to the mistake, which is this one right here, and I'm partially lucky, I'm partially unlucky. Let's get a couple things finagled together right away, because we do have the demo office right here, but it will probably take a little bit of reshuffling of what we have going on this side. But first, I would like more money. You may have noticed, happiness is at 71%. It's been like half a year or so, and the booze shop is on. We call it the Bath Pub, because why not? The distillery is producing some. It is... oh, we're actually out now. Cool. That means I'm going to increase you by 10 people. But I don't want this one to be our main source of anything. And the reason for that is honestly pretty simple. It doesn't make that much money compared to clothes, and I don't want to... It is high volume, okay? It does make money. Yes, it does. But look at this. The full truck currently gives us 694 ruble. Compare that to the full clothing truck, which is that one over here. But we're probably not going to have a full one right now. We do. This. We're not full yet, but we're like 4x that. And it's the same truck. Well, it's not the same truck. This one's a bigger truck. But they both require about the same amount of fuel. So I would like to keep the booze just to internally produce stuff, and that's it. Our repair station is honestly, it's just doing what it's supposed to do. Allow repair, cancel long while idle. I will not allow them to cancel this. They have to get done whatever they're doing. Then I have a bunch of stuff coming in here. Looks like mechanical components are currently out, and it's assigned to a secondary distribution office. Did I use this one? Is this one that? Yeah, repair station. Cool. So I assigned this guy to pick up from or bring stuff to this distribution hub, and it's working fine. There's no real complaints there. That's kind of really it. Besides, one comment was talking about, hey, on the jungle biome, you got the math wrong, but the result right on your output. Apparently, and I didn't know this, there's a 50% penalty for your farms in the jungle biome because you can technically get 2 full harvests per year. So, something I didn't know, but numbers still math out because I mathed the fields wrong. I didn't apply the 50% multiplier, and then I assumed for some stupid reason that I needed 2 fabric factories that produce 5 tons of fabric to 1 clothing factory, which consumes 2.2 tons of fabric. Can you do the math really quick? It's reversed. So because I reversed everything, it kind of worked out the way that we are producing approximately an appropriate amount of grain for the 1 fabric factory here. But this one has to be replaced with a clothing factory. So let's just remove this friend, that friend as well. We haven't built anything there yet, so that's all good. There's a little bit down here that I have to worry about, but the main thing that probably matters for what we have is, this is the water substation, right? Yeah, we may have to rip out a couple things here so we can build the next item, specifically this one. This is going to be the most painful one, but I think we're lucky because we can just push everything out to this end just a slight bit, and then we can probably continue with whatever we want to do. Let's do this. Are you kind of connected to everything that we could possibly want? This one's connected to a couple extra things, but we have a substation sitting right here, which is currently not even overloaded. Well, not overloaded with this number or this number, but we can only supply 1.2 megawatts. So we are technically overloaded here, but practically, because we're in the city, it doesn't matter as much. The industrial ones, you have to stay close to 100% if you have 100% productivity, which we don't have, so it doesn't even matter. But all of that is good. Apparently I did move the numbers here to the right thing and the numbers here to the right thing, so we're close to producing 100% of a current clothing allotment, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. But let's build the couple things that we need over here, and I just want to make sure that we at least cover all of the industry parts, which it looks like we are now. I just want a simple dirt road here. There's absolutely no need to do anything else. F4 so I can keep my nodes down right there, and you don't want to connect into this thing. Yeah, oh well. Looks like we're gonna do 2 nodes a little closer to each other than I normally would prefer, but we're gonna survive. Construction office group 9. You can get started on this because this will definitely get destroyed in just a few minutes once we're ready for that. Speaking of destroying stuff, we may as well just get this one organized then. Don't be fooled. Don't talk yourself too much into everything will be fine when you start demolishing things, because I do have to build or fit a relatively large building into this area, and I think the water substation and the power substation here will just not prevail. Let's see, underground again, that's F3, cancel sewage, which should be this guy, and then cancel water should be this guy, as a starting point. But I'm pretty sure that we have to move all of this out. But let's see, let's look at the thing. So miscellaneous, if we look at our clothing factory, F3, so we can actually see something. This is the size that we have to fit in here. I believe that there's a small chance that we don't have to remove the substation. Once we have the other things removed here, there's a road path there. It looks like there's a small water substation. No, that's a water switch. Thank you. There's a small water switch there, but I think there's a chance that we can kind of get around this. But the wires, there's a wire here that's not gonna be good there, and then there's a small chance that we may have sewage problems right here. But first, we have to destroy everything, which means we have to destroy this thing, and I don't want to destroy this power substation without having backup, because we do need the money. We do need the money. So let's see if they can figure out what they're supposed to do over here first. All that said, the hotel. We already have a pub and we have a swimming pool. They should both be attractive enough for our friends to go to. And then, well, we have universities, some sporting events, we have a cinema over here. So there are things that they should be going to that don't have purchase prices. Not even the shopping center over here has a purchase price, but I'm not terribly worried about that. So I think they will still be happy to do some touristy stuff in those places. So let's just turn all of these things on, shall we? Yes, we shall. What I want to do here is, to the line that we have, you're still picking up at the distillery, you go to the pub first, and then you can go to the hotel lobby and make sure that they get whatever they need, but our own stuff is first. That's very important, and then just continue with whatever else you have going on. Great. This one, we need, I think the only other thing we need is meat and food. Okay, let's see how we can organize that. We have the meat storage right there. Nobody's sitting here. It's actually interesting. Looking at these guys. Cool. And that should be good. This guy is getting rid of a little bit of food. And let's look at our hotel. How many parking spots do we have there? We have the booze truck coming in, but that's not going to be a wait until unloaded. And then we have a little bit of extra room, but we already have 2 storages in town that we can absolutely use for our pleasure. So let's see what we have available here. We have a bus. We're going to use that to bring some NATO people in. No problem. Water truck, no. And then a couple open hauls. Don't need that. We have this garbage truck and a couple more buses. These are 14 passenger and you are a 30 passenger. Yeah, the Gaggenau is much nicer for what we're trying to do here. It looks like there's a concrete truck over there that's not really being used yet, but all of that shows you we don't currently have the vehicles that I actually want, which are, police has not arrived. Yeah, that's going to turn into a problem here relatively soon, isn't it? Yes, it will. So let's figure this out. I need a refrigerator. I do not care about workshop items right now. Sorry. And you are, oh, this is one of the road cranes available from mods, but not important. Also it turned into road crane and not into normal stuff anymore. So let's go back to here. 2.5 tons, 75, 75, 1.5 tons. You can go 60, you can only go 31. Huh. You can go 42 and you can go 70. Honestly, one of the early requests when I announced the season was to not use the perfect truck every time. It makes life a little harder when we get into vehicle replacements, but we do have border connections now, so vehicle replacements are not the end of the world anymore. So let's just get one of these smaller ones to move around, and then I would like a covered hull with similar stats. It just needs to deliver a little bit of food. We could even use the same style of vehicle there, apparently. You go relatively... This one looks nice. 75 tons of food. Sure. I mean, kind of. Yeah, sure. Why not? If that... No, these are too big. I don't need anything big. So it's either this one or this one. This one is better. Can you make it blue? Really? I can make it green or this color. I guess we're going to use that color then, because why not? And this is how we're going to set them up. Very simple. All you have to do, this is the meat truck. You go here, wait until loaded. This is the only truck that will load there. And drop it off here, wait until unloaded. So you have one truck delivering all the stuff to the city, and then also delivering to the facility, which is the shopping center, and the other truck doing the rest of the work. That should all be fine. So that's the first one. We had booze. Where's my other friend? You, covered hole. Where did you go? Why? Where were you going? What were you doing? Do you have fuel? Seriously, did you take the long way around to get to the... It must have come from here. There's no other way. That will be so silly if it decided to take a completely different route, but it's fine. We'll survive. It will just do the thing. But you, I would like you to come here, wait until loaded, and you're supposed to just get food, and then do the same thing, bring it all down here, wait until unloaded, and call that great. Cool. University is being built. That's wonderful. Police station, I don't worry about yet. These two both cost a lot of money. I will probably start with the wheel. No, this one is cheaper. I will probably start with the zoo. Sure, you have some money. Just start with the zoo. Just make it work. You don't need the other industry just yet. It will just come in the very near future, so let's just wait for that. But let's do the Ferris wheel here. That should be fine. So we have booze already. Meat has already arrived. Wonderful. So all we really need is a little bit more food, and then I can look here. Our Russian visa, our Soviet visa is close to being done. Looks like I have a lot of research here already happening. I'm curious. We are going up in workers with higher education, so I should be allowed to progress a little faster through research. So this is all fine, and then we can actually start getting some rubles in, not just NATO money, but this should be fine for right now. Let's talk to our gag now. You can hop up here. You will load no workers, no students, no passenger, just tourists. You're not unloading anyone. I can't tell you to wait until full, and that's totally fine. And I will just drop off the tourists right here. I think I can bring them straight to the house and call that one good, and then don't load anyone else, just tourists. Cool, that should be fine. I don't know how many tourists we're going to get, so we're going to start with 10 people doing something. As you can see, we have everything delivered now. So I'm assuming in the next day of waves of people coming through to do whatever they need to do, that should all get done relatively quickly. This one looks good. This one looks good. Bio-waste, we have mostly fertilizer in here, but that looks like it's doing exactly what I would like it to do, and we are seemingly producing good amounts. Currently, pretty much everything that they're producing here, and they're only producing at 30%. They should be at 50%. But, well, I don't have more room anywhere. So it is what it is. I could probably just increase this one a little bit, and yeah, we should see this number going up slightly. Yeah, that's going up still. Cool. Gotta feed the beast. Can't get around that. But if this one could be a higher priority and actually get done, that would be great. But that is that. Chemicals is kind of my next thing that I would really like to look at. If we even look at the whole time so far, steel, that's not going to happen as a next industry, because for steel you need so much money up front, which you can borrow. You can take a loan out, and then you just need to know where's your iron, where's your coal. You need to transport that. You can use aggregate, or you can use conveyor belts 100%, but you have to know where those are. Then you have to get the processing plants for all of those. Those are expensive, take a lot of steel to even produce. Then more conveyor belts into a steel factory that needs a ton of workers, so it needs a huge city that sits behind that to actually get turned into money. And then, yes, you have steel. You know how much more steel we're going to use to even make that one happen? Part of this is all the train lines, okay? But we need a lot more steel to make all of that worth it, and I'm not quite ready for that yet. Fuel, much lower point of entry, just a couple pump jacks and a fuel refinery, and it's very possible that we actually have... No, we only have the big fuel refinery. Also 500 people, so also relatively expensive, but less of an investment depending how much fuel you can get close to the city that you want to be in. So that's also a possibility. But then right after that, we're already at chemicals. Since we are using chemicals for our clothing and fabric production, that is actually a thing that will really, really help us. We don't even have to export the chemicals. We just have to produce enough for this friend, and this friend uses less than what a chemical factory actually produces. Is it in here? No, it's here. Oh, wow, we have a couple different ones. So you produce 2.7 tons. That's a... Wow. They changed this a lot. This is the original. This is the original one. 0.81 tons for almost no workers. This is 2.7 tons, which is, yeah, okay, that's a little bigger. I'm not doing the math on the ratios, but this is nice. You can actually produce quite a bit with that guy. And then this is the big chemical plant, which we're not going to build right now. But if we can produce this with just 200 people, that's 600 workers in a city, that's a pretty good step forward. And it's also a relatively low input product because we have crops. Do we have enough? Probably not, but we can produce some. Gravel, well, we'll just import if we have to. And wood, not even boards. Wood can just be produced wherever we feel like it, because just plant a forest right next to the chemical industry and you should be fine. Barely uses any workers, so that's not a problem. It uses a lot of water. which in turn uses chemicals again, so that's also self-fulfilling prophecies there. And then oil. Oil will be a problem, but we may have a good rail connection available at that point. So those expansions feel pretty okay. Speaking of expansions, I have to look here. I did have this one built while you were gone, because look at the number. They look good, but we're very heavy on children right now. 38% is... Those are some potential workers that are not potentially ready yet. So we have to make sure that we stay on top of that too, which really just translates to build another one of the housing units and see what happens there. You look fine. You can't get electronics. I'm so sorry, buddy. I'm surprised that I don't see any money yet, but what is... Where's our money going? Like... What is going on? We are importing 187, 88, 89. What are you importing? What are you do? I don't like it. Import of resources on the... Where's the other side? Western. It's not saying that we're doing anything. That number is going up. I don't know how. Is that a bug? Something fun. Oh, nope, found it. Okay, there we go. So this is the importer for electronics for our main city thing, and you're obviously in the wrong place now, because you need to go to Dover Large Customs House, not Dover Medium Customs House anymore. At the Large Customs House, you will just load electronics and leave me alone. Okay, so that's where the money is going. That's also why they're complaining that they can't get electronics, because they can't. Yeah, you go to the shopping center. Perfect. So you are... Exhibit A. Exhibit B is this guy, and you're trying to get concrete for some reason. Okay, so you're this construction office over here. Looks like someone has not overwritten your current assignments. Let's make that happen, which should mean this guy is, should disappear relatively soon. Perfect. I was expecting some numbers here, and the numbers weren't there. So now we should be seeing a little bit of money coming in. And great. We have these guys done. I don't even have the logistics done yet, and fire prevention honestly doesn't sound that bad. Where do we want more people? I think the advertisement in Soviet countries feels more important than the alternative, and I'm actually going to use just the same bus to do the same behavior. Where's my good bus? There we go. You're currently picking up 15 workers. Wow. Oh, this is much easier than I expected this to be, because I will just tell it, hey, when you're done there, go here. It's on your way, so you may as well pick people up, pick more people up, more tourists. And then at any point, you should bring 30 new people in. I don't care if they're NATO or USSR side. I just care that everyone gets dropped off here and makes us a little bit of money. That would be wonderful. How many tourists do we have sitting here? 10. Perfect. Here we have 4, and then if we wanted to, we could get 4 more over here. But yeah, I'm not terribly worried about that yet. We also have some more buses. To export or to expand on that problem. Great. I talked long enough where this now has become a possibility. I need to get rid of this friend, and it wasn't letting me demolish the way that I wanted it to, so we had to go old school. And this as well. This is all waste that you have to get rid of. That's not all that cheap. So I have to make sure I didn't set this up to... These are all medium customs houses. Okay. Got it. We'll fix that. You're gonna go here. It's possible that it was this one. No, that's a small one. Okay, there you go. Let's do something easier here. Rename this building to NATO Customs House. Cool. Now I know. Next time I look at stuff. What are you guys doing? I think I did add another dump truck out here at some point because we were overflowing in hazardous waste. I don't have an incinerator yet. I know that that is a source of income that we could use as well. We can probably throw that up here. We don't need that many people actually showing up there. It is an option. I don't love it, but it is an option for money. Yes, 100%, and we may go there, but I don't know if you can tell, but I feel like we have bigger fish to fry than getting a little bit of extra cash here and there. So let's just see what happens. Seeing this now 3 times this episode actually makes me a little nervous, so let's look at a couple things. Criminality. We have a 2%, and a lot of 1%ers. 2% is starting to get into the realm of not that great. You survive up to 5%, just fine. But you have to start taking care of things, otherwise things are just going to get out of hand, and you have to overbuild police stations everywhere, which is not going to be super helpful. So, am I going to build all the crime and justice infrastructure out here? I'm going to look at something. We have 26 tons of steel still required and only a little bit of money coming in. You may be okay. Maybe. Yeah, I think a ton of steel is less than 1,000 right now. Let's see here. Aluminum. Why did you build that? Didn't you say you wanted to build the zoo with just 18 tons of steel instead of the other one? Too late now. Apparently you picked this one and not the other one. Not the first time I would have said something and then done something, and they were technically mutually exclusive, but it is the way that the cookie crumbled today. Yeah, 130. Sure. Yeah, no, it shouldn't be no problem to actually build this thing. So let's keep that one up. Looks like you get that one removed, and now someone just please demolish this thing so we can see if we can fit the next stage in here. And we may actually be lucky and start doing that. Right now, I'm going to assume the answer is no, but I'm going to try to fit you in here anyways. And the game says not yet. And I think it's just the wires. There's wires. There's this piece of road out here. That one is pretty easy to remove. Then I'm hoping that the two water structures are not going to be in the way, but I don't really have real input on that. Make this one a little extra because looks like there are a couple tourists already waiting for space. Sounds like a them problem, not a me problem, but whatever. It's fine. We do lose a couple workers here because of that setup, as this one is sucking up 45 workers per shift, and we don't have all that many people available. Plus, this is in walking range of residential buildings where they will only go to a bus stop if absolutely nothing else is available in terms of work, which means, well, if they can work here, they're not going to go to the bus stop. Otherwise, they will end up here and go to this bus stop over here if they can't find anything else from this bus stop. And then will funnel into the other buildings, which this hotel is one of the buildings that they will funnel into. So just keep that in mind. Make this 12. Save a couple workers. Why not? Good. Have you started on this one? Oh, this is why we lost a bunch of workers, because I didn't reduce it to a reasonable number, and that is fine. I would really like this thing to come out. But it's not quite ready yet. Advertisement campaign is happening, just not that quickly. The new university is coming up, and that is also nice. Good news for us, but we're not going to use that for anything in the near future. How about you turn a little bit of stuff into a real road out here, because gravel is cheap, and then we can figure out what is next. Good. So, if we look at the map, press M on your keyboard, eventually we have to go north. There's a very natural corridor through, I wish I would know, the English countryside. I know London is right here somewhere in the area, and then Wales is over here, and obviously Scotland is up here, Ireland, Northern Ireland is there, and then this is mostly England, but I have no idea about the natural phenomenons. I think Loch Ness is somewhere. Was it here? Is Loch Ness in this area? Seriously, I love it, but I'm bad at it. So it's somewhere here. I don't know if there's a natural path that goes through here anyways, that people chose because of path of least resistance, or if that's just something I'm making up. Anyways, I know there's some coal here. We may just go there straight away because coal is the thing that we want. But we need chemicals. So where are we going to get our chemicals from? That's an excellent question. Part of me would like to get some gravel out of this rock right here. This is not a bad rock formation for gravel. We have a little bit of room right there. Doesn't produce a lot of pollution. It's kind of out of the way, and we can get a couple things organized from there. Consider that we already are polluting stuff here. So having a chemical industry somewhere over here where there's already pollution happening, and yes, the island would be great. The island would also be great for prison, but we can't have everything all the time. So yeah, a chemical plant right here would actually be really nice. We could have gravel relatively close. we could pretend... I do not know where oil is. I really don't. I don't remember, and I don't want to cheat and look. But we can scan the ground just briefly. There's some oil right here. Okay. On the map, that is right on this border. Oil is the thing that we need a lot of, but just crude oil. We don't need anything else. So there is an option right here. Just a very small field, so we can't do all that much with it. Okay, but there is one here. There's very much a field here. Okay. 47, 48. Okay, how much is that per day? You can produce 7 tons of oil a day. So if I just can put 50% pump jack right here, actually is a huge win. And we can probably get another 30% or 32% right there. Looks like there was a 34%, 35%. So 2 pump jacks right here. They will produce about 50% out of 14, which is 7, which is approximately enough for, well, the chemical plant that I looked at earlier. The early start one looks really interesting to me because of what it can do. So if we assume that that chemical plant will be somewhere in this area, could be right there. Oh, there's another good one here. 35%. Wow. May as well make use of that. And then I guess there's another 35% or somewhere in this area, so we may as well. So let's say this is 45% each, and we have 28 potentials times 48%. We're a little 13 tons of oil. Could be produced here. Could be power. There could be some power in here. Anyways, talk. That's where we are. We could build a chemical industry right here. If that is where we want the chemical industry, then we could say that the next city can actually be closer here or closer to the north side where there's a nice harbor area as well. How far are we away and how bad is the terrain? Terrain is not terrible. We have a harbor on this side as well, although the ships will probably get stuck in here. I know this was part of the first series that we also tried. I know that there's coal in this mountain, so we could have bricks, coal ore coming from there. We could have some oil here. We could have the chemical industry sitting there and have a semi-safe city somewhere out here, and then have some gravel there. So yeah, we could... City right here doesn't feel that outlandish. The only thing that's outlandish about it is how far away it will go from the border. Okay, with that in mind, let's try to build our chemical industry. No, our clothing factory over here. There you are. Are you gonna fit? Wow. I got spoiled on that. Like, I saw it already being green, which means we're really close. Clicking a couple times will even out the terrain enough where stuff is possible. Not always, but definitely can be possible for the next step. So we have this one. I will press T, R, R, because I'm hoping to get a slightly more advantageous footpath connection, and there is one. Clearly, the road connection is a little worse, but that is the least of my issues. So if we say, maybe go here. I don't think it's going to stay here, but you can connect, you cannot connect. How about you? Too long. Come on. Sure, fine. I'll probably have to go the other route, but we're going to try this one more time. T, and this angle, push it out a little further this way. Give this one more chance, and that one will connect, which means then we can have the footpath connect over here. Beautiful. And I don't know if you can tell, but this one will be easily connected. The other one would have been connected too. It's just a different approach. Cool. So you would go there, you would go there. We go underground. Actually, construction office 3. Can you do this one and this one, please? And thank you. Then we go underground, use the smallest water pipe. You don't need one, because you only need water and sewage for the fabric factory, not for the clothing factory. Well, you're correct. So good on you, which that actually reminds me, this guy, I believe, gets some chemicals in every once in a while. Is that one that has chemicals? There's a distribution office assigned to you. Interesting. But you are bringing chemicals into the water treatment plant first, and then to this warehouse. I will actually have to change that, because instead of the warehouse, I want you to go here, That is where it's required, but there's an actual reason why I'm going to do that. Yes, that's fine. Bring your chemicals in, that's fine. Because I would like this one to be upgraded to be a real road. By real road, I just mean gravel road. A little faster. I just want to do that sooner rather than later and get that one connected. Cool. I think everyone is doing fine. We actually aren't even overloaded on our potential wattage here either. That's great. Ferris wheel, 2 workers, no problem. No problem at all. But you're not done is kind of surprising, but I'm apparently just getting in at the last few stages, and I would really just like this one to complete and then turn the rest of you off, because chemicals is the next one that I care about. We could go to geology, but we already know where a couple things are. So chemicals are probably the next thing that I want to get into. How many workers do you have? 5 there. That's fine. 2 universities are totally overkill for this tiny little city, but it should be fine for right now, especially since we already have a good number of workers with higher education. And it looks like our next civilian building also got completed. Great. Expected rating 1.8. Average rating trip is fine. Price level, just crank you up a little bit. I don't really care what your problems are. Just pay me. We made 1,000 in tourism. Woohoo! There are more tourists. Okay, that actually is a good trigger for the next step, because this does make money. How much money does it actually make? It's not maxed out yet. That's all I know. So let's talk to the bus company. Waste. I see something. That waste will probably have an impact on the health of several people in the general vicinity of this. So let's address that. You can tell that I added a little bit of greenery all over the place here, so we may as well complete this by adding a stand for large garbage connectors. There could be one there. There could be one closer to here, but here it's not actually covering everything. If I plop you here, I am covering everything, and I have a chance to get this connection done as well. I will take that possibility. This one is too small for a non-bus construction office, so I'm just going to assign all of them. And I'm actually surprised that this one's not done yet, but I guess at least you have all the gravel delivered. Beautiful. Okay, so all of these things are coming together. We do not have the population that I would like yet, but I think we have our next target of the Ocean City. Really? I'm not I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not convinced by that notion. I would much rather find a little bit of oil somewhere near the London area. That would be super. But okay, we have some. It's not as much, but putting it here actually gives us an opportunity to drive another road down to this side and stay away from the coal fields for right now. And it's better power connection, but let's be fair. Let's do a very sober approach here, because I don't like either answer very much, but let's do this. If we just pretend that we would have to connect to this roundabout, that's 2,100 meters. Call it 2.1 kilometers, right? Right, good. That's one. How much further is the other one away? A couple hundred meters. Not a couple hundred, several hundred meters, but if we're going to do this and be really dry, let's look at the next thing. If we then look at how far are you away from the current rail network, then the answer to this guy would be 1,700 meters. The answer to whatever this guy over here is would be over 3,000 meters as the crow flies, but either I have to jump over this side, which not impossible, but I did put some wires here that would make that hard, plus the fuel station's right here. So really, it'll probably have to happen somewhere over here, which then just means at that point just go around here. So we have a rail connection already established that could go out here relatively quickly, where this side does not have that. So yes, next city, exactly where I said it would be, which is over there. Done. Cool. Research? Are you done yet? I would like to build a distribution office, a rail distribution office, but that's like 4 more research points away. But if I could have a rail distribution office right here, that would be lovely. I want it on the line, but I'm not going to get that. With that in mind, let's see. There are no natural pathways for rail versus anything else. Little unfortunate, not the end of the world. I was hoping that there was a place where rail can either go over or under road easily, but the rule is road over rail, not rail over road. Trains do not like to go uphill. That's a general notion of things, so that's what we're gonna go with. How's the happiness here? Average trip rating, effectively in line. We do have a little bit of money, so I actually would like to have that one, the zoo build, to help our average trip rating a little bit, and see where you guys are actually heading. Garbage containers overfilled, health risk. Yes, I am working on that as we speak. I would actually like both of these to be relatively high priority. It looks like you are taking care of this one. Quick drink. Very good. And then take this one next, and that is my higher priority item. It is, but I just assigned this guy, so you're probably already gonna deliver a couple of those things which are overlapping. Not the end of the world, but not ideal either. I don't know that I want to build you right now because I simply don't have the personnel to fill everyone up. And that is fine. This one is not overflowing yet. That's wonderful. Okay, so next city planning, right? Yeah. And what goes into that? Well, we need a city core like we have already, and this city is still growing, obviously. We already established that. Wow, we actually got a lot of people here. Let's look at something. Let's look at our all statistics. Ignore this. This is when you switch from one year to another. I don't even know what just happened. Seriously. We weren't at 4,000 people, I know that much. But there you go. There's a number here. Beautiful. And we are at not 2,000. Yeah, this graph is just funny. The thing that I really care about is this number. We have 4 escapees, 73 deaths, and a lot of births, which means we're relatively healthy. Even with the booze I'm supplying, we don't have that much of a health impact, and it looks like most of our people get what they want. And pollution, 1% pollution is a little higher than what I wanted to see, but I wouldn't be surprised if part of that is due to the waste container that sits in the middle of the city here that's not really being taken care of by anyone. Could totally be. 18 reported crimes. Yeah, no, we need to plan the next city to have crime and justice taken care of for us. Otherwise, this is not going to work out very well for anyone. Good. So, let's just get the first initial steps done. The first initial steps for a new city is absolutely have an idea of how you're going to run into that. And this is not the way that I want to go, because the inside track needs to, well, it's not what I wanted. The inside needs to go somewhat like so. It's fine. It's not, there's no make or break situation here. And this is a highway that will run into the city. I am not convinced, whoa. I'm not convinced that the city will be on both sides. Also, I am not 100% sure where I want to build the rail crossing. We did talk about having the chemical industry up here, but there's a little bit of a mountain to climb to get up there. It's not super high, to be fair, but there's a mountain to climb up there. We probably need to elevate the road here so the rail can split and go underneath something, which means I'm not going to turn this into gravel road anytime soon. Build faster. What are you doing? So just something I have to remember. That's generally a me problem, not a anyone else problem, and then we can expand. Gravel costs money. Gravel costs a good chunk of money, but I don't think it's that expensive anymore. Let's look at it. Gravel quarry. This one does not have a factory connection. Let's zoom in so we can actually see it. It's nice and tiny. Should have no problem building 1 or 2 or 5 of those onto this thing, and the quality of source honestly does not matter. We just have to be able to collect it. So yeah, if we put 4 here, let's just say 4 is fine, and you want to produce some tons of quarried stone. Quarried stone is a weird thing because it's one of the industries that you don't have to think about in a holistic how much do you produce a year, because it always comes in ebbs and flows. You either need a lot and need to build something, or you don't do anything unless unless you want to get into prefab panel building, and I'm nowhere near that. Plus, we need some research for that, so no, prefabs can stay wherever they are. That's what we have the Timekeeper mod, so we can stay in our current situation for a little longer. So no, I do not care to produce gravel at that level, and when I do, that's probably a whole separate production chain. So keep that in mind. How much does this cost? Nothing. Not even a ton of steel. Literally, not even 1 ton. Gravel processing, you will cost 12 tons of steel and 5 workers. Beautiful. It's the only thing we need workers for and has outputs. We can easily put that right here, and we want to see what the pollution level of that thing is. It's not nothing. It's like 250 meters, which probably translates into don't build a house right there. Let's see what, let's call it 360 or so meters. Yeah, we're already good. We don't even have to worry about that. We can even put that a little closer to here. But then we have to figure out where we're gonna run the road lines. So we can probably just do our gravel construction right there. And then how we're gonna collect gravel from here. Normally, I like to do relatively large sidings. That does not mean it's a good thing, because then you have to worry about this. We need, where are they? Train aggregate loading. We have these huge train aggregate loading stations. And they are lovely, but not super helpful. We have a small one, train aggregate loading station here. It's smaller, but it's still relatively big and harder to combine. But then we have these guys. This is a unloading station. No, I want the loading ones. Okay, fine. Let's go down here to aggregates. Aggregate unloading, aggregate loading. There you go. This is the one I was looking for. Relatively small. We can pretty much put that anywhere on the side of the road, and the connections that we get from it are also pretty solid. For gravel, you 100% want to use a train. I'm not sure that I would highly recommend exporting stuff, but it would be pretty easy to put this here with a storage right next to it, with the little processing plant that really just needs a car to show up every once in a while. And then we're good to go. I kind of like that, but I do recognize that the road that runs through here is maybe cutting off too much of our potential settlement area, and we have to be a little careful of that. Chemicals is almost done. That's amazing. The zoo is not almost done. Not amazing. What else are we doing? How are you not done with this thing? Seriously, just like a tiny bit more concrete, but they filled this one up first. It's pretty much what that translates to. All right, whatever. Our rating is going down a little bit. I still assume it has a little bit to do with our trash problem that has been fixed by now. Population growth is happening. We have a little bit of money, so I'm going to build 2 of those buildings. And by the time this city is full, we do need the next city to be built. Okay, good. Yeah, I think I shared my plan. I think I like the plan. I think I like that there's stuff up here. The chemical plant does produce a lot of pollution. I think I need to look at this one. 15 tons per year. Okay. I want to be at least 700 meters away. This is not like the big one. This is 65 tons a year. It's a lot more than that. So 750 meters is what I need to be away from you. If I put you somewhere in this general area, is that 750 meters? Yes, this one should be fine. Delete the last point. This one should also be fine, and we can potentially even put an incinerator out here. No, the incinerator out here would be stupid. There are no ships to transport waste by default, which means you have to bring it in by train. There's no good train line that goes out here. Well, if you're going to build something anyways, you may as well make a train line happen. Okay. I'm expanding here a little bit, prepping for the next action in the next episode. What all do I want? Do we want a oil power plant? Often I don't build those. Doesn't mean that they are not necessary. Coal power plant. Coal power plant? I didn't know we added that. Interesting. Oh, wait. We had a coal power plant over here always. But this is a gas power plant research. You consume 8.8 tons of oil. That could math out. That could math out because the power production of this thing is fine. The problem is the pollution production is at least 1,200 meters, 1,250 meters. And even if we put it down here in this valley, this city is still relatively close. Okay, let's check that one more time. If we say don't build from here. Where is the appropriate place for an oil power plant? It will be here. I'm starting to question if I want to build it where I have the buttons. I think it will be fine if I just contain the city to pretty much the north side of the road. Maybe everything will be fine. But yeah, I'm not sure that this is the perfect situation, but this is where you have to try to plan ahead enough that stuff works. Incinerator, small, early start. You produce almost nothing. The big one produces 71 tons. You produce a ton. I don't like any of this. I need to look at something else. I need to refresh my numbers. Fabric factory, 8 tons of pollution a year, call it 300 meters. So, 3 to 800. Yeah, no, 3 to 8. 3 to 8 is probably fine as a number. And I look at this, it's almost 10 times 8. It's 9 times 8. So 9 times 300 is 270 meters, which I know is not true. It's more like 250 at that point. 9 times 250 is still a lot. So even 9 times 200, I mean, that's 1800. So 2 kilometers is really what you want to be away from here. 20 tons, not that much, but it can only consume 10 tons versus 58 tons versus 30 tons. This one is more interesting, but we have to get rid of our trash at some point. It's just a question, do we do it via train, or do we get a couple trucks that are constantly on the road bringing it somewhere? I don't love either. I don't think that this island would be good for trash. I think this point right here is not terrible for trash in the current production, but no, actually you're pretty close to that building, so that's not going to be helpful. I don't want this because it's so far away from everything else. Yes, I can import hazardous waste. It's a little bit of money. That is nice, but no, I would like to concentrate on some industries right here. It has to include chemicals. I would like to include coal, which means I should include a coal power plant and a brick facility to just get those things moving. I will probably add the forestry somewhere in here as well because it's small. And then gravel out here. I think I like that plan. City should probably be first. Industry second. Rail also important. And then the bridges and all the other things that we have to figure out there. Etc, etc, etc. Too many people in here. Just do it. Make 5. Great. Yeah, there's nobody working here. I do not like that. I need people to actually be in there. But as long as we're not out of clothes, it's not the end of the world. But there's more you can do, so please do more. Yeah, most of our workers are currently doing something else. Hey, a waste has actually shown up here. Can you do hazardous waste, some plastic, and some bio waste on the side? Please and thank you. We're not separating it, but it's just more fun that way. You don't look like you actually need this many people, so make it 26. Perfect. And then the shopping center over here is keeping up with everything. That's what I need to see. We don't make the money that I would like to see, but the hotel is also not always full, and we do have some extra tourists sitting on the border. I think I talked about adding another bus here. Let's just end with that. Wow, there is a funny spot there when you click on something. How fast do you go? You go 45. How fast does the Guggenau go? Because those buses we already have, so I don't even have to do anything with them. Talk to you. Talk to you. Talk to you. Guggenau can go 40. So the 15 manpower vehicles are actually a little faster than you. That's fine. Click you. Click you. Do we need spacing? Sure, we're not. Let's turn on some line spacing. We'll be fine. Great. That's what I wanted to get done for today. Obviously, there's more. We'll see how that looks. These roads have to be turned into some asphalt roads so I can actually get some one-way roads eventually, but right now it's not that time, so we'll see how that goes. This is why we have gravel roads everywhere, because rain does slow you down pretty hard. And, oh, there's some buses that I could have used. You understand what my plan is for the future. Hopefully it will work out. we will start planning that next. We're still a little low on money, so I don't have any incentive to go super fast unless we're running out of population. But I do have the incentive of going a little fast because crime and justice is starting to happen, so I cannot just ignore that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in the next episode, hopefully. If you want early access to this stuff, just a reminder, that is Patreon and YouTube memberships. I will post them as soon as I have them, and you may be a little more than a week ahead, maybe even potentially 2. That's up to you, though. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.